This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, good morning. Any doubts from previous sessions? Okay, we are into modularization techniques. We discussed in our last session about function modules. How do we work with the function module? How do we use different tabs, import, export, changing tables, source code inside the function module? And today what we are going to discuss is we have different types of function modules. So what are those types? Which function module we are going to use in which scenario, those things we will discuss in our today's session. When you create function module using SE37 transaction, usually system by defaultly it will select a function module type as normal function module. This is the default one. Similarly, we also have update function module. This is also there inside the function module as a type, and remote enabled function module. When you go to SE37 in the attributes tab, you can see this is different types. Usually when you create a function module, the default one is normal function module. If you want a function module to be updated or remote, you have to manually select these radio buttons so that the function module becomes an update function module or remote enabled function module. And basically on what scenarios these types of function modules we will choose. Let's say you have created a function module in SAP ERP application, and this function module is going to perform arithmetic calculations. And this function module is a normal function module. The normal function modules are self-executable function modules, and these function modules are going to call with statement call function followed by your function module name, and we can use it this function module wherever you need in within the same system in SAP ERP itself. So if you have a program where in this program you need this arithmetic calculation, so simply call that function module and use it. Similarly, one as there is another program, in that program also you wanted to perform calculation, so you can go and call this function module, which means within the same system wherever you need this logic inside the function module, and you can call that function module using call function so that you can use that logic. This is what normal function module uses and why we create a normal function module. Normal function modules are created for main reasons of readability and reusability of the logic. Once it is created, you can reuse the logic in wherever you want, simply calling that particular function module using call function. This is what the behavior of normal function module. So there is no restrictions to use the normal function module within the same system, and all are accepted in normal function module. Now we will see update function module. So what about this update function module? If I created a function module of with the type update function module, what is this function module is going to do and where it is helping us? Let's say you have created this update function module in SAP ERP system, and in a program you wanted to update a custom table. This particular program, you need to update a custom table with some data. Then usually if you wanted to update data directly, you can go and update using modify statement or update statement. But my requirement is I wanted to validate some logic and then update. If the logic is success, then only I need to update. But the problem is my update will come first, but validation will come next. So in a program, I wanted to update a custom table. So to update, you can go and use statements. Either update statement we can use or modify statement we can use to update the data to SAP database table. But my requirement is I wanted to update this data first, but later point I need to validate it. Some conditions. I need to validate some logic. And this first update, what I am going to do, this is depends on this validation logic. If my validation logic is success, then I wanted to add the entries into database. If my logic is failed, then I have to revert the changes, not to update any data to the database. But how it is possible? Directly, if you are doing first update, table will be updated and then logic will perform. Whether success or failure, you cannot again go back to the previous logic and do the changes. That is not possible because our interpreter will read line by line from top to bottom. So when it comes to first line, it will perform that action without checking the another actions. Now this is not at all possible in our normal function module behavior. For that, SAP they come up with this update function models because update function models run in a separate work process that is called update work process, whereas normal function model which runs in a work process called dialog work process. So what is this update work process and what is this dialog work process is you need to ask system to run this code. For that, you are going to assign some work to the system. And that work for normal function module, we are going to give it to a dialog work process. Dialog means screen related, which means it will go line by line from top to bottom. But update work process behavior is different. So what is this different behavior is? First of all, this update work process, update function models runs in a update work process. This update work process will be triggered only when it come across a statement called commit work. If we have a statement commit work in a program, then only this update work process will trigger, and that update work process it will run the logic. So now what SAP recommended is if you wanted to update a table, do not update directly. Instead of that, create a function module which is used to update your custom table. Whatever logic you have to update data in your custom table, so that logic you can go and kept in a function module. So remove and then use a function model G update custom. So in this function module, you can go and write your logic to update your custom table. So now this update function modules will be called using a statement call function followed by your function module name in update task. You have to write this one call function in update task. You have to write this extra line. Then what will happen when system come to a line by line execution? First it will come to this line, and then what it does, it will never run your logic inside the function module. Instead of that, it will keep your function module in a update work process, and this update work process is waiting for a commit statement. So commit statement where we will use, so here our need is when validation is success, then we have to update custom table data. Then what we will do, we will verify the logic, and once it is success, then we will use this commit work. When you use this commit work, what will happen? Update work process, whatever it is kept inside that, those function module will start executing. Then only your logic will run inside this function module. If, for example, validation fails, you can use rollback. Rollback is nothing but whatever you have asked update work process to hold to run it right, that changes will be reverted back. So now your function module will never call, and work will not or data will not be updated to the custom table. So update function modules only used for the purpose to update data to the custom tables or standard tables, whatever it is. Only for table updates, we will use this update function modules. So why do we use this update function modules? Because we do have a scenarios where we don't have a sequential execution. We sometimes wanted to update table, but this update will happen only when some certain validations is success. Then in that cases, SAP recommended to use update function modules. And there are restrictions in update function modules. It is not like a normal function module. You cannot use it like normal function module. What are those restrictions in update function module is, in update function modules, all the parameters are passed by value. That is what you need to remember. Your import and program export both are having different memories. That is what passed by value. It is always passed by value parameters. And second most important thing is, you cannot use this update function module to receive something as a export. You cannot use anything as a export, which means you will not get any outcome from this function module. Outcome means what? So if you wanted to perform arithmetic calculations, what we have done in the function module, we have given inputs to the import n1, n2, and then result we are receiving through export. In the source code, we have written logic res equal to n1 plus n2. So this is normal function module behavior. Normal function module, no restrictions, and you have a export which is nothing but output. You are getting some result out of the function module. But in update function module, you cannot use this export. Why? Because update function modules not meant to give some results, output. These are function modules are meant to update custom tables with the data. So only you need to input the data so that function module it will update the data. There is no outcome from the function module. That's where we cannot use export in update function modules. So we will see this in the system, and we will also verify what is the difference between normal and update in a elaborated way. But in a high level, understand normal function model used for any purpose. There is no restrictions at all. And whereas update function modules only used for table updates, and we have restrictions. We cannot use normal update function module as like normal function module. So that is what you need to remember. And final one is remote enabled function models. So when we use this remote enabled function model is when we are going out of SAP ERP, which means we have SAP ERP and our customer Amazon also using one more software from SAP, that is SAP CRM. Now we have two different software products. Both are SAP products only. One is ERP, which deals internal business operations, and another product is CRM, which deals pre-sales and post-sales activities. Now there is a need of data exchange between two different systems. SAP ERP, SAP CRM has to exchange the data with some different reasons. So in that, when we are talking about a sales, basically in which scenario a CRM ERP will be discussed, communicated is uh, related to a product warranty. So when a customer buy a product, customer information, customer data, and product data, what is the product he purchased, and orders data, what is the order it was placed for that particular product, what is the delivery it is created, and what is the billing it is generated. All these details are stored in SAP ERP system. And if customer once purchased, let's say he purchased a laptop and it has 1 year warranty, now there is a problem, then customer what he was going to do, he will approach to customer support. Now customer support is what? SAP CRM system, customer support. Now SAP CRM system, it requires data related to product, order, customer. Then only they will provide the support. When you call to a customer support, what they'll ask, tell me the order ID or your phone number, right? Then only they will see in the system what are all the orders you have placed, for which order you are talking. So when they receive your order ID, let's say you said my order ID is A123. Then what will happen? SAP CRM, they don't kept your order details. Actually, these order details are kept in SAP ERP. Now, SAP CRM will send these order details to SAP ERP, and in SAP ERP, from the tables related to this order, it will pick, and then once it is received, then it will confirm, okay, this is the order related to so and so product, and now you will ask customer what is their problem. So now how this communication is happening between these two different systems is through RFCs. RFC means remote enabled function model. As a SAP ABAP consultant, what you will do, you will create a function model in SAP ERP system saying that get sales data. You'll create a function model G get sales data. And this function model, you'll make it as a remote enabled function model. And for this function model, what is the importing means? Input is order ID. And what is the output? Output is export. Export is what? Order related information, order data. This is your export information. So now you will create this function model in SAP ERP, and this function model require order ID. So if you provide order ID, then you will get order details. Now this function model you have created as a remote enabled, and once you created as a remote enabled, whenever SAP CRM system need this order related information, then SAP CRM system, it will call your ECC function model with this statement call function followed by your function module name with statement destination. So now this is how SAP CRM it will going to call your function module G get sales data with destination edition. Now what will happen? SAP CRM it will pass this order ID information to your function module as a input, and it is expecting export parameter as a order related data. Now this function module what it does? It will call this ECC function module, and through this connection it will call from SAP CRM, but it is actually executed in SAP ERP because it is created on SAP ERP, and then it will pass order details and then get the order related information. So normal function module thing is, it will be created in used in same system, and there is no restrictions. Update function module created and used in same system, but update function modules only used for table updates, and we have restrictions. We cannot use update function module as like a normal function module. And remote enabled. So remote enabled function modules which will be used whenever we wanted to exchange data between two different SAP systems. Then we will go and create function module of type RFC, and then we will call that function module from the system from where we want pass the data and get the results using the destination edition. So destination is nothing but where this function module actually created. So in this destination, this function module is going to execute with the input. So now the input is going from CRM, and actually function module is getting executed in ERP, and it will provide the result as order data. So now I'll log in into the system. I'll show you these three function modules. But remote enabled function modules, we don't have a separate system, SAP CRM. So what I'll do, I'll create in SAP ERP and call from SAP ERP itself, because we don't have a another system. But you think that these function modules are created in one system and called from another system using destination. So calling also very, very important. Normal function modules are called with the statement call function followed by function module, whereas update function modules are called by statement call function in update task, whereas RFC function modules are called by a statement call function module with the destination edition. So this is very, very important. And one interview question is, what happen if an RFC function module is called with call function statement without adding destination? So then when you call function with that function module only, then it will behave as a normal function module. So this function module you can only call in SAP ERP system. In another systems, you cannot call like call function followed by function module. Definitely you have to add destination. Okay, now let me log in into system. SC37. normal function model. So this is normal function model. Okay, this is not exist. Normal function model n1 into type I. Export result type I. Save source code result equal to n1 plus n2. Save, check, activate. So this is normal function model. So normal function models, wherever you want, you can use it. And this function model, it is going to perform arithmetic calculations, additions. And when you check attributes, you can see this is a regular function model. Default function model is regular function model or normal function model. And we also have different types: remote enabled, update function model, and we will see update function model and remote enabled function models. And you know how to call this function model, right? In a external program. In this program, let's say if I wanted to use program to call function model, there is a need. I wanted to call this function model from a program. In this program, I need arithmetic calculations. So instead of writing logic, I can go and call that function model using pattern. Enter your function model, continue. So now you have your function model. So you will pass your inputs and you will get the data. Comment and write result. So result is not declared here. Let me declare data result type I. Save, check, activate. And it is important, a function model import parameters, how it is created with respect to data types, export parameters with respect to data types. Same data types, you have to use it. Otherwise, it will go for a dump. For example, this I have used as character. Now it is activated. But when I am testing, I'll get dump. Why? Because my function module input export parameters which are having integer data type and you are having character data type. So there is a type mismatch. So you'll get dump. Make sure always your data types should match. Now this is normal function model and there is no restrictions on normal function model and you can use it as you want. And this function model you can call in any number of programs, and the sequential execution of the program you can see here. If I press a breakpoint execute, now we are at line number 10. If I click on F5, what will happen? I'll go inside of this function model because I am calling this function model and my logic is going to perform, and I am coming out from the function model and line number 17 is going to execute, which means line by line execution. So first function model is called and second write statement. Now I am getting the result. This is normal function model behavior. Now let me create a update function model. So this is what normal function model. Let me comment this. Now we will see update function module. So what is update function module? Which is only used for the table updates. We should not use it as like normal function module for any other operations. Do we have any table, custom table? So many entries are there. Okay, let me create quickly a table, customer master table. Click on create, customer data and application table, display maintenance allowed, save, save as local object, technical settings, data class, size category, and someone don't know this table, no worries, I'll explain for them later. MENDT and customer ID. This is Kunal and date PRDAT and person ERNAM. So save. So this is a customer table. Date is reserved. Okay. Created date. I have created a custom table where it is ready to store customer information. Now here if I go and see table contents, number of entries 0, no entries are there. And if anybody wants to maintain data, you can go here utilities table content, create entries through. We can maintain data. But I don't wanted to maintain data using this option. I wanted to update data into this table through program. Number of entries 0. So I wanted to update data through program. Then I need a program function model first, which is used to for table update. Let me quickly create this update function model SC37 customer update. Click on create function group, function module to update table. This one custom table. Save, continue. So now we wanted to update the table. So do we need any input to update the table? If you want, you can create. Otherwise, you can go and write your logic to update the table. So to update the table, we have to first pass the data to our work area. And work area through we need to move the data to our internal table and then table update. So first of all, let me create this as a update function model. Update, type is update, and customer ID. What is this field we have created inside the table? First ID. This is my input. First ID type Kunal. And in update function module, always you have to choose this one, pass by value. Otherwise, it will throw error. Remember that. And then I'm using tables, internal table IT underscore customer, like, followed by my table name, because I wanted to update this data into this table. Now go to source code tab. So pass your data to this IT cust hyphen mandt or customer ID equal to A00 or 0001 IT underscore cust hyphen what are all other fields, C date equal to sci datum, today's date, and IT cust hyphen person who created equal to sci uname, sci uname system variable, append IT underscore cust. Then if IT underscore cust is initial, when we are not giving any input as a customer ID, or what is this? When we are not providing any input, if customer ID is initial, then modify your table. This is the table from IT underscore cust. Pretty print, save, and this IT underscore cust you have to use body operator. Remember, save, check, internal table. Okay, from table IT cust, pretty print, save, check, activate. So syntax is important. Modify your custom table from table IT cust. Okay, let me place a breakpoint here and execute. And I'm not giving any value. So when we are not giving any value, we should make this as optional. Otherwise, system keep on always you to enter the value. Now execute. I'm not giving any customer ID. Execute. So now you can see IT cust is what? IT cust is created under tables parameter. And when you create under table parameter using like keyword, what will happen? Like is a keyword. It makes our data object as work area and internal table. Now this IT cust behaves as a work area as well as internal table. It is ready to hold single record and ready to hold multiple records. So what I am doing, first I am passing one by one record. This is customer information K0001 and so date, and then my user ID, because I am creating this. And append what it does, it will add your record information what you are passing to internal table. Now you can have one entry here. Now this entry we are going to move to our custom table. So in our custom table, do we have any data? What is this? Execute table contents, number of entries. Do we have any data? No. But after modify, you can see data will be present over there. F5 and F5. Now modify is completed, right? So then go and check in the table again, close, number of entries, or Let me go back and again execute. Why it is not still updated? Anything wrong we were passing? 7s customer master and modify is success. Table name is correct, right? G7s CU master. Correct. Okay, let me come out from this program. Maybe it will take some time. Now execute. Yeah, now it is updated. You can see a table entry is created inside this table. So update function modules are used only for table updates. We should not do any other activity. For example, I wanted to change this value. Already we have one customer updated, right? A001 for customer. This is the date and this is the person. Let's say name also we will add in the table level to, to see the modification. Okay. Let me go back. Let me add one more field. Add. So name of the customer. Okay, fine. Activate. No. Now in my function module also, I have to change the logic. So, customer name also. Customer name I'll be providing as Varun Auto Spares. And this is name. Pretty print, save, check, activate. Now I'll remove this breakpoint. I'll run as a whole scenario. Okay. So we already have some entry in the table without a name. Now let me execute this function module. I'm not giving anything. Executed. Now go back to the table and refresh. Now you can see customer name is updated here. Varun Auto Space. And why this name is not coming full, which is of character 12. Okay. So how many characters we have this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So it is reaching maximum number. Then what I'll do, I'll change this data type to another data type. Uname, username also character 12 only. Char 30. Okay, let me change to character 30. Activate. No. Let me rerun this function module again. Because I want this total name to be added in the table. Execute. Execute. Now again go back and check in the table. Now you can see Varun Auto Spares, it was added inside the table. So only for table updates purpose, we are going to use this update function module. And now we will see the beauty of this update function module. I wanted to update this table based on some condition. What is the condition? If a customer um, creation date is today, then only I need to, I wanted to change this name from Varun Auto Spares to some other name. Or if, or else, how can I say, like from the program, if uh, if if the date is today, system date is current date, today's date, then I wanted to carry on this updates. Otherwise, I am not interested to proceed with the update of the table. Then we will see how do we perform this action. So first, we need this function module, copy and go to your driver program. So here, go to pattern and call your function module. So it is asking you to provide any input, but I am not interested to provide the input. And tables. So here I will be giving some data. So if you want, you can give the data using tables from outside also. Otherwise, you can simply call this function module. Okay, so let's say what I'll do. One comment, I'll be giving an input customer ID and table is IT or ITAB. Now I need to create the respective data types. Data, ITAB, type, table of, custom table name. What is our custom table? Z7S CU master. This is the one. And this parameter, let me create parameters p underscore customer ID type Kunar. So we have some input screen and we have this update function module. So input screen where we are going to enter customer ID and that customer ID related, we were going to update the data. So we already have a customer ID in the table. Now I wanted to change that customer name from Varun Auto Spares to some other thing. So to change that, first I have to fill this internal table because this internal table only we are using to change the data, right? So here also instead of type, use like keyword, same wise in the function module how you have used, and save it. Let me quickly copy this code and add it here. If I was passing customer ID as K001, then it is going to be changed from Varun Auto to Varun Spares only. And date and time, same. And append IT cust. So here instead of IT cust, I have to use ITAB. ITAB, pretty print, save, check. ITAB is not an internal table. Okay, so we have to use body operator. Check. Occurs specification is missing. Okay, what is that? Data, ITAB, like occurs 0. Save, check. Without header line and therefore does not have a component called cust ID. What happened? Type table of, let me change this logic. Pretty print, save, and work area, type customer. Pretty print, save, check, activate. So we have customer ID is entered, and that customer ID related details we are filling, and then that data we are giving to internal table, and now it will go inside. And this logic, what we are going to do, this logic will perform if customer ID is initial. So remove this logic from here. If customer ID is initial, then only perform this logic. If customer ID is present, then else part. And else part, we don't have any values we are inputting. Only simply we are going to get the data from external program and then update. That is what we were performing. So now it's ready. Okay. So let me place a breakpoint here. Execute. So if I enter some customer ID K0001, execute. So now we were filling our work area and then preparing an internal table. So this internal table basically contains what are the changes we need in the table level. Earlier we have Varun's auto space. Now we wanted to change to Varun space. And we were calling this function model. Actually, this function model you have to call with statement update task. Let me restart because the calling is not correct. In update task, save, check, activate. So now execute. So F5. Now if you see, when I click on F5, it will not go inside of this function module. You see, it is not going inside of the function module. It is simply going to the another call. So now what happened? Whether this table update is happened or not? Because it is not going inside the function module, right? So if I go and check inside the table update is performed. No, still it is Varun auto space. Why? The reason behind this is if you call your function module in update task, it will be registered in update task. But this function module is never going to call as like normal function module. If you wanted to call this function module, we have to use a statement called commit worker. So that's why this is not getting called. So we will see this commit work and how do we call this update function module, how the logic will be performed, and what is the difference between this normal and update, how do we debug this update function module, as well as the RFC function module in our tomorrow session. I'll be stopping with this today. Any doubts so far? Okay, if no questions, we can wind up for the day. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Bye.